Exactly 15 years ago tonight, several communities in the tri-state were cleaning up after a tornado tore through in the early morning hours. That tornado killed 4 people and left a path of destruction. The tragedy brought 2 local churches together in a unique way. Local 12 meteorologist Josh Knight has more on how 2 men are reflecting on that terrible day.
This wall was actually still pretty much intact.
15 years have passed, and now Pastor Chuck Peckham shows me how the Montgomery Community Church has grown. But that morning in 1999 was devastating.
And we just saw the destruction, and we're just helping to clean up. I mean, it was a nightmare, a disaster.
No one was hurt at the church, and that meant the congregation could get out into the community.
It just really gave us a great opportunity to love and serve the community, which is always where our heart is. And just being able to go over there and just help people that really didn't know what to do next.
But still, they couldn't worship in their newly finished space.
We had a congregation in our neighborhood in need, and we were going to make whatever accommodation was possible in order to help them out.
Barry Jaffe worships at the Ohel Shalom Synagogue, the Jewish temple down the road.
The synagogue graciously opened their doors to us, and we were able to worship there a couple weeks, and then we actually went over to CHCA's auditorium after that.
While parishioners were doing anything they could in the community, the religious bodies were also doing what they could to help each other.
From both our religious, philosophical standpoints, an opportunity to help out somebody else in need is an opportunity that needs to be grasped.
As a way of saying thanks, the Montgomery Community Church planted a tree at the synagogue. Peckham says they have grown since the tornado.
The church is not a building. The church is the people, and so we continue to worship. We continue to be the people of God, the body of Christ.
And that was Josh Knight reporting. The church says that in some ways they were actually very lucky, because had the tornado hit a few hours later, there would have been more than 100 preschoolers inside the building. But there is something interesting to note about that. Where they actually go for their tornado drills remain primarily intact. 15 years later and a lot of rebuilding, it's hard to imagine an F4 tornado tore through that area.
No kidding. I know some of you remember that. We certainly remember that. I know you do. You were up there, weren't you?
You know, in a church like that too. Let's say you're in a church. You know, should I go to the place where you worship, a large span roof, or should I go into a hallway or try to get underground? Well, underground is your best bet. Then the hallway. Large span roofs are less stable, so you don't want to be in a mall, you don't want to be in a gymnasium, you don't want to be anything with a big roof on it, because the walls are further apart. That's why we say if you don't have a basement, go to the middle portion of your house where the walls are very close together, because that room has the best chance of standing up. But the best place to go is somewhere underground. We not only saw that in 1999 with the Blue Ash tornado, but down in Crittenden, in Piner, and in Falmouth, and in places like that years after that. So that's just something to keep in mind. Whether you're, if you have that chance to go to a smaller room, go to a smaller room. Don't go to a large span auditorium. That is simply not safe. Let's check.